hiring of Scott Satterfield. So what are those who are in favor of his hiring saying, and what are those who are not in favor of his hire saying? We break it all down in this live room edition of Locked On Bearcats.
Our Locked On Bearcats, your daily podcast on the Cincinnati Bearcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, thank you so much for making Locked On Bearcats your first listen every day. We're free and available everywhere you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to our Locked On Bearcats YouTube channel. Follow it too to get an alert every time we drop a new episode. Today's episode of Locked On Bearcats is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. My name is Alex Frank. Russ Heltman, my colleague at All Bearcats and Sports Illustrated, joining me here today. We are live. We're live today, actually. So come on in. See, as Russ, you say how the sausage is made. So this is going to be our Friday show. But for those of you who are joining us in the live room, we got the chat pulled up. We'll take your questions, your comments. This is how we do our weekly conversation every week. I'm tweeting out the link right now on YouTube that we are live talking Scott Satterfield. We're talking about the Crosstown Shootout that's on Saturday, a big game for the Bearcats. Really the biggest remaining non-conference game on the schedule.
Yep, no doubt.
It's been a busy week for Cincinnati athletics. Transfer portal, obviously. I mean, in addition to the head coach, Scott Satterfield, being hired, we've already touched on that in our cold open. But you've got players entering the transfer portal. You got recruits decommitting, reopening their recruitment. You've got coaches leaving, coaches coming in. So there's a lot happening right now surrounding the Bearcats football program. And, of course, you've got basketball, which is on the rise over their last 3 games. So lots to get to this week. There we go. So the link is up. We're back up and running. This is good. Had a little mishap in the first trial run, but we're getting there, Russ, and that's what's most important. This episode will be posted for Friday's show, so lots to get to. Let me start with this, as I teased it in the cold open. What are you hearing from those in favor of the hire, and what are you hearing from those who are not in favor of the hire?
I haven't really gotten a lot. I mean, I haven't gotten a lot of inside people giving their full opinions on the hire really just yet. Like it's still pretty fresh out the oven. We don't even have an offensive coordinator. We don't have most of the position. I don't really think any of the position coaches defined as of this recording that we have going on in this live room right now. So obviously you have the vocal fan base, the people that are for the hire, the people that are against the hire. I think it's been met with more skepticism from this fan base than optimism so far through the opening days. But I that kind of goes without saying when you bring in a guy who on the surface has a 25-24 record at his last stop in the ACC in a program at Louisville that has a lot of NIL money driving into it. And that's something that UC is trying to get to. Louisville, obviously well funded by Adidas as one of their flagship schools on that company's balance sheet. So the fact that it's a kind of lateral move for Scott Satterfield on the surface, but on the reality, I don't think it's that much of a lateral move because of the recruiting hotbed that Cincinnati is in the state of Ohio, the amount of resources that are getting poured into this program, and the high expectations and high bar that has been set by the Lou Fickell era, now transitioning into the Scott Satterfield era. To me, I give this hire like a 7.5, 7 to 7.5. It's a solid hire. It's not a home run. It's not Deion Sanders. I would have given that an AA plus, 110% all the way, knocked it out of the park because you see what Deion Sanders is doing immediately. Number 1 overall recruit in 2022, Travis Hunter, already going to play for CU. Shadur Sanders, 4-star recruit that was playing for his dad at Jackson State, already committing and basically ready to go to be their new quarterback at Colorado. The talent influx is going to be insane in the transfer portal there, and it should be pretty significant in the transfer portal for UC in terms of talent leaving this current roster, this old era, the Luke Fickell era, and talent coming in maybe from Louisville and other schools that are ready to get on board with the Scott Satterfield era.
We got some, Russ, I'm sorry.